Shockers and Shockettes to ShockCast episode 191. I'm pretty sure they just heard me say I was going to vomit, but I'm not. I'm going to hold it in just for you guys. It's not that kind of video. Joining me today on a very special ShockCast, deputy editor, Mr. Varus.
Howdy.
Super video guy, Ryan Meitzler.
I don't know about super. Maybe super duper, or I don't know, something like that. But anyway, yeah. Hi, everyone. Hello.
And just in case our Ryan goes sour and bad like a piece of fruit, we have another Ryan to take his place.
Backup Ryan, ready to go.
A backup Ryan. Everyone should have a backup Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen, new staff writer, Ryan Rath, how are you?
Hey, what's up, all? Yeah, it's Ryanception.
Yes, yes. I want to Ryan within a Ryan. Oh, yes. Okay.
I feel like this is going to get really dirty really quick, so just keep
going.
Oh,
it will. It will. It will. And going back to my first Ryan, the games are out. Apparently, there's a ton of them. I bought a bunch. So did you. I'm broke for the next couple of weeks. Ryan, what games?
Yep.
New releases?
Yeah, me too. So new releases this week. We have Door Kickers for PC, Mac, and Linux. I think probably one of the best titles for a game I've heard in a long time, Door Kickers. But anyway, we have Fantasia Music Evolved for Xbox One and Xbox 360, Samurai Warriors 4 for PS4 and PS3. The Legend of Korra for PC, PS4, PS3, Xbox One, and Xbox 360, I think. Shadow Warrior for PS4. The Voice, I Want You for Wii, Wii U, and PS3. Fluster Cluck for PS4. The Walking Dead season.
That was a close one.
I know. I was like, as soon as I saw the title, I was like, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. But anyway, so we have The Walking Dead Season 2 for PS3, PS4, and Vita. I think also Xbox One and 360 as well, but it doesn't list on here. Anyway, Just Dance 2015 for Xbox One, Wii U, PS4, and PS3. Dreamfall Chapters, Book 1 called Reborn, and it's for PC and Mac. Scapegoat 2 for PS4. I didn't even know there was an Scapegoat, but we'll continue. Race the Sun for PS4 and PS3. F1 2014 for PS3. Pure Solar and the Great Architects for Wii U. Korg DSN 12 for 3DS. It's an eShop game. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, also a 3DS eShop game. Castlevania Aria of Sorrow on the Wii U. Bayonetta 2 for Wii U. Pokemon Art Academy for 3DS, and I believe also 3DS eShop. Fantasy Life, 3DS, and also on the 3DS eShop. Bayonetta, which is part of the Bayonetta 2, so it's the original Bayonetta is also out on Wii U, and Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth for PC, Mac, and Linux.
I have no desire to play any of these games. Wow. Wait, actually, if I had a Wii, I'd go with Bayonetta 2, but I don't own a Wii. Who owns a Wii? Bill, what are you going with?
Oh, go ahead. Oh, yeah, who's going?
Oh, I was just gonna say Bayonetta 2 as well, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to make a pick, I would say Bayonetta. I mean, I think that's the biggest of the bunch for the week.
Mr. Ryan, what are you going with?
Hey, we gotta call him Mr. Rath.
Mr. Rath.
Or we could just do like Reservoir Dogs, just give everybody colors.
Ooh.
I'm actually looking forward to Civilization. I kind of want to play that. I played a lot of Civilization 5. I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah, Civ has always been like a big time sink for me.
Yeah.
I love like picking Abe Lincoln and just like, yeah.
It's one of those series, like I have a lot of friends that are like really, really into Civ, and I've wanted to kind of join them and play, but I suck at strategy games in general, so like I avoid them like the plague, so yeah. But yeah, the Civ games always look fun, and Beyond Earth looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be Mr. White. That sounds kind of
I'll be Mr. Pink. I'm a big fan of Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, all right, Mr. Pink. Ryan, you're gonna be Mr. Orange. Other Ryan, you're gonna be Mr. Yellow, just because they're really close in color, so we can just get them confused. So we're gonna.
Dude, we don't have a Mr. Brown. I don't. Yeah. Isn't that list like?
Wait, who's picking up Mr. Pink?
I'll be Mr. Pink.
Joe, Mr. Brown's gonna be Yaris. Whenever he ninjas in, it'll be Yaris.
He gets to be Mr. Shit. So.
All right, so there were some happenings going on the website. I put up a couple of videos, so if you want some nice little horror, Evil Within, and Sunset Overdrive is up there, so check that. 2 episodes of Joystick and George. But really, main reason I brought Joel on the podcast, which second week in a row. Joel, what's that like? It's 2 weeks consecutive.
It's weird that I have my son in bed at a decent hour, and I can jump on the podcast. It's monumental, folks. I don't even know what to say right
Look
now.
at that. I'm the reason for your focus. This is amazing. I'm flattered.
It's a renewed focus.
Yeah, totally. So I brought you on because you wrote a nice little editorial today about open world games and like your long-lasting love-hate relationship
Yeah.
about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So, I guess this the idea for the editorial came up when I had a chance to see Dragon Age Inquisition about 2 weeks ago at an EA event here in New York, and it was kind of like it just I love it when I get to preview an open world game like at a press event because it's like, oh man, I can't wait to play the shit out of this game, and then when I realize I'm like, oh man, I'm probably gonna get very upset with this game at the same time. It's like it's never like it's never like 100% love with any of the open world titles, and it happened with GTA last year. It happens with a lot of like the big fantasy RPGs. So Dragon Age is trying to switch it up. Basically, I guess my biggest thing is, and again, everyone's different, and I guess everybody buys games for different reasons. But like, what I pointed out in the editorial was that, when I purchase a game, it's because like, I'm going to spend my hard-earned money, but I want to make sure, obviously, I'm going to get my money's worth, right? So the value to price ratio is very important. Like, how much am I going to get to play this game? Like Shadow of Mordor, that I'm still playing. I brought it up last week. I get to play another hour here and there, another hour, but it also falls into that same kind of category where, kind of do what you want, but don't really know what the story is and don't really know. I mean, I get the gist of it, but it's like you don't know when you're on the right path, and that's like a big problem with Shadow of Mordor. Like, like it lays out the story missions, for example, but you don't know what order you should be playing them in order to get the story moving in the right direction.
Right. Well, I think that the thing with Shadow of Mordor, which I really liked about it, is it's got a weak story, but the story you keep telling other people when you play was about this asshole orc you chased like 300 miles to finally cut off his head, and everyone's got their own like variation of that story, which I think is probably Shadow of Mordor's like strongest suit on there. But yeah, like outside of that, it's just a very boring like revenge tale, which I was kind of glad it was light on the story side because
Assassin's Creed with orcs.
Yeah, it
works for me.
Yeah, I just started Shadow of Mordor this week, and I'm feeling like so far I'm really liking it. I'm probably only about like 2 hours in, so I'm still at the pretty much the beginning. But like I said to George earlier before we started that like that game wastes like no time getting you into the action because basically like you get like 20 minutes of story setup, and then you're in there chopping orcs' heads off and all that. Basically is like it's kind of a good thing because it actually reminds me a little bit of like Far Cry 3, where it's kind of like it sets up the story and it's like okay, go and have fun, and then it just like you can just go and kind of move the story forward in whatever way you like, which I'm liking so far because it's good for like because I can play it in short like 20-minute bursts. I'm like okay, I can like go do a quick mission or go like go after a captain or whatever. But I do agree so far. Like when I started, I was kind of like okay, what do I do next? Like to kind of progress the story forward.
Right.
I think it's not just Shadow of Mordor; it's a lot of open world games.
It's a lot of it's a lot of that stuff for that same like fate where it's just like. I get it, but it's just like you would think a lot of these developers, especially Bethesda and the Skyrim franchise, or I used like Watch Dogs as an example. Maybe Ubisoft wasn't the best example to use, but it's happened with Rockstar with some titles over others. It's happened with the Dragon Age series before Inquisition, and then the thing is, it's like they throw so much at you, and it's like they invest so much in these titles and these properties. That you would think that the people that do the story and all the lore and all this like this universe building that they do would care enough to like step up and say, hey, can we make sure that these people are getting the gist of the story that we wanted to tell, or getting the narrative that we wanted to push through? And I feel like that never happens.
Yeah, and I guess that's because there's just so much game there, and like that's the problem when you don't have a linear story. Meaning, point A, point B. This is the story we want to tell you. Like, there's so many side distractions, and it's funny you mentioned Watch Dogs as an example because I thought all the side stuff in Watch Dogs, as fun as it was, made absolutely no sense as far as like the context of the story. It just felt like they were going down an open world checklist, which was like, it's like, hey, we've got our racing part. I was like, I don't think my guy likes to race cars, so why is he even doing this? He's a hacker guy. Should all the side stuff be hacker related stuff, not just like just bare bones? Well, why is there racing? Well, it's an open world game that takes place in an urban city. We need racing in there. Like to me, that made no sense. And you talk about that value proposition where it's like, to me,
you're giving me more. But what are you giving me?
You're giving me more, but who cares? It's kind of like that JRPG argument where it's like, oh, look, it's 60 hours of gameplay. Like, well, technically, it's 20 hours with 40 hours of grinding. You're like, yeah, technically, it's 60 hours of gameplay, but it's not. It doesn't fulfill anything for me. It's just busy work.
Right, and like so I mean we get a lot of good feedback in the comments. So I hope the people that read the editorial and are commenting on do listen to the ShockCast. I did plant the seed in there, like, hey, we're going to be talking about this on this week's recording. But so someone actually gave a really good example, Red Dead Redemption. Now, you talk about a game that had a lot of shit to do outside of the story, right? But there was never a point that I was playing Red Dead, not once, was I like, you know what? I'm just going to do this for like 40 minutes and not do any, like, don't get me wrong, you had the hunting and stuff like that, but honestly, all that side stuff I saved for when I was playing with my friends, and it was like two different experiences for me. It was like, it was almost like I had two games, and not to sound cheesy or like I fell for the marketing or whatever, but like all the the bounties and all that stuff, I would do it online with buddies, but the story-driven stuff, I never felt like I was being thrown off the path. It was like, hey, this thing unlocked, you can do this, but it was never like, I never got to like a new city or a new town, and I had to deviate from what the mission was. Right.
Ryan, what's your take? We've been other Ryan. This is gonna be fun.
It's the yellow.
Yeah, feel free to chime in whenever you want, because we're just gonna talk right over you. So you just got to be the aggressor and be like, no, I want to speak.
It's like double dutch. He's gonna jump in. He's gonna keep swinging.
What are we actually talking about? Shadow of Mordor? It's the first Lord of the Ring games that doesn't suck. Let's just say that.
I don't think so. There are other good ones too.
Ryan, the first Ryan, tell me a good Lord of the Rings game.
I was to say, did you play the movie games like Two Towers and Return of the King? Those were fun. The hack and slash ones, those were good. They were fun.
That could have been any other game.
Yeah, true, but they were good though. I'm just saying they were good. You're saying all the Lord of the Rings games sucked, and that is not true. There were good Lord of the Rings games. So
they were mediocre games.
Hey, they were fun.
Their own, right? But they took.
Anyway.
Shadow of Mordor, they took the fighting combats directly out of Batman. And honestly,
that's fine. Yeah.
Batman, that's one of the best fighting mechanics I've ever seen in a game. And those are still to this day my favorite games.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna steal mechanics, might as well steal from
one.
The games that do best.
It is funny though how like they took the Batman mechanics, but I actually like how they work better, and I think they actually work better in Mordor. Like I feel like they just work a lot better, so I've been enjoying them there more. But yeah, it's like Batman and it's like if you take Batman and Assassin's Creed, you mix a little Lord of the Rings in there. That's like basically what the game is, pretty much. So
Batman, Assassin's Creed, you put Gollum in there, you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, that Gollum was such like fan serve. Like Gollum had no reason to be in the game outside of being, look, remember me? You saw that movie once. I'm that guy. And I'm like,
yeah, but it's funny like when Talion climbs on top of like a pillar or something like that. Like immediately I saw the character model. I'm like, oh, that's Assassin's Creed. That's like ripped right from the game.
Well,
so,
did you?
How about when you like unlock, like when you jump into the world off of the tower?
Oh yeah. Off the tower, it's like straight up Assassin's Creed.
I'm like, there's gonna be a fucking cart full of hay at the bottom of this thing.
I'm like, I was waiting as I was on top of like the tower. I was waiting for a hawk to fly by and just like it was like.
All right, so going around the horn,
Anyway,
what's everyone's favorite open world game?
Oh, that's a tough one because there's a lot of really good. I would like if I had
right here.
Is that it? Your advertising?
Well, yeah, I mean,
cashing in that Rockstar money. So many Rockstar references, Joel.
Well, you know what it is too. No, so someone actually that was one of the commenters. They did mention Red Dead, and I have to say, like again, just not to really put it in there, but like even as an open world game, did everyone play it? And if you didn't, fuck you. It's
Red Dead, yeah.
Okay. No, because I feel like, do you guys remember the initial ride? This is kind of very early on in the game. It was like 3 hours into the game when you ride into Mexico.
Yes.
That's I think a little further, but like that's still like one of the best parts of the game. It was
when
great,
the music comes on and
Yeah.
you're just riding and it's just you and the open world and like that it creates that like moment like
Yeah.
you're like exploring like the Wild West. Like you had no idea where you were going and it was just an awesome moment. And like I think that gives you a feel like that's open world immersion where it's like it's just you, the character, the horse, and it was just special.
You feel like you're part of something almost like living at that moment where you're I'm part of this world, which is amazing.
And that is very hard to do, and open world games more often than not fall short of that that moment. But go ahead, I'll let everybody else go.
Ryan, Mr. Meitzler?
I don't know, because I played a lot of them, and I really like. I enjoy open world game. Like I enjoy open world linear games pretty equally, but for different reasons. Just because I like in open world games, you kind of create your own story, and that's you kind of create your own fun out of it. You know, that's like you have these moments where it's like something crazy happened that you wouldn't get in like a linear game. But if I had to pick like favorites, I'd probably go between. I think Fallout 3 would be my all-time favorite, just because I sunk way too much time into that game, but it was a lot of fun.
Could you tell me anything about the story?
What's that?
Could you tell me anything about a Fallout story?
How Liam Neeson was my dad in the beginning of the game.
Okay.
So,
That's all the story you need.
I would probably go with that, and Red Dead's also up there for me, and Far Cry 3 more recently. I really, really loved Far Cry 3 a lot. I think that like out of like the most recent like open world games, I think that was probably one of the best ones, and like probably one of the best examples of how to do it. So,
Mr. Yellow.
I gotta go with the Arkham Origins. I guess you could.
Yeah. Look at that.
Ooh, a controversial pick. I love
Ooh.
it. Go for it. Batman Origins. Why? Go.
Honestly, the combat system, I've never seen a game beat that. Number two, I'm a huge Batman nerd anyway, so it jives well. I don't know. I just think they did it extremely well, even though it's not my actual favorite Batman game. Arkham City is technically open world, yes, but it's still pretty linear, and I felt like I just wanted to do everything in Arkham Origins. I didn't feel like I had to just rush through the story, and don't get me wrong, I didn't feel like I had to do that with the other two titles either, but I just felt like there was more to do in Origins, and I think Ubisoft Montreal did a really good job with it. So I sank a lot of hours into that game. As far as more recent titles, I guess Destiny. I'm really enjoying that, still playing it, and I know the content's kind of lacking for now, but I feel like we're on episode 1 of season 1 of your favorite TV show. There's still what they said 10 years of content to come. I'm ready for it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, 10 years is too much an investment for me. I think they should have front-loaded some content a little bit more before you saying this game's going to go on for 10 years. Like you got to give me something more juicy up front. But did you do because I'm hearing good things about the Glass Vault. Have you tried that raid yet?
I have beaten it on both normal and hard, and it is an extreme challenge. I'll be honest. Beating it on hard, we cheated. We did the push Atheon off the edge method, but I don't think they quite patched it yet. The patch notes were out for yesterday anyway. They said they were going to patch that. I don't think it's been patched as of yet, but I haven't been in there yet this week.
That's another open world game, but we have no idea what that story is about.
Right, it's very vague.
But I feel like Destiny's like Diablo. Like you can just like turn your brain off. And just
it is one of those games. I mean, it's a loot game practically where you just turn your brain. It's it's like when you play Dynasty Warriors game. Hey, do you have 4 hours to do nothing and just kind of veg out? Go for it. And you just that's what it's for. Ooh, I'm so happy you said Batman because we can talk Batman for a while because the reason
we really could. I could sit here and talk Batman all night. But
so I can tell you why. I can tell you what would have made Arkham City the most perfect game ever. I'll tell you, a timer. Because that was a game where Batman was, hey, he's poisoned, he should probably get this antidote. Oh, no, wait, you know what, I'm going to collect Riddler pieces. Like, that made no sense. And, like, it's those weird narrative things that just kind of, like, they linger behind where it's like, no, Batman, you should really, you're going to die in 9 hours. You don't have to go after Bane right now. Do this. That drove me nuts. But if there was, like, a Majora's Mask type timer where, like, hey, if you want to do open world bullshit, go do it. But, hey, you're on the clock, Batman. Get this shit rolling. Like, that's how Mass Effect would have been really good if there was an actual timer, whereas, like, Shepard, you can't go on bro dates with Garrett, so you need to, like, save the universe. But, yeah, so, I don't know. How do you feel about that? Am I crazy?
No, I absolutely actually agree with that. The story is way better in Arkham City. You are on a timer. You're like, hey, I got to get this antidote. Please save me. Whereas Arkham Origins didn't really, gotta,
It's a Christmas game. It's a Christmas game.
Yeah,
that Bane, and also spoilers. I think that how they crowbarred Bane, how they crowbarred Bane knowing your identity and then conveniently forgetting. I was just kind of like, oh, that was so comic booky. That's irritating. But I think it was a Batman game that they needed a Batman game while they make the next gen one, and I thought it was like a good, it was a good attempt, and it was just like they already have mechanics that don't work, so as long as you don't like overly fuck it up, it's fine. But I just feel like I was maybe suffering some Batman fatigue, where it was just like, didn't that come out like shortly after Injustice: Gods Among Us or soon before? And I was just
yeah, I think it came out like pretty close after Injustice.
Right. It became almost like Assassin's Creed. Like I need at least 8 months before I need another. Like I before that too much Batman. I'm like I know what happens here. I need to move on. Oh fuck. What do I pick for my open world game? I'm gonna go with Skyrim because I really love Skyrim. I have maybe hundreds of hours just kind of lost in that because you start giving yourself little objectives because it's an 8-hour story for the most part. You deal with dragon bullshit.
About 10.
Yeah, but you're mostly dealing with like dragon bullshit. Who really gives a shit? Like I was more in fact I was like I'm gonna do assassin stuff or I'm just gonna go fucking west and see what happens. And you get those dynamic.
I'm not gonna lie though, the certain points with the dragons, it felt like that must have felt like fantasy Alien Isolation. Because I'd be like leaving a town and it'd be like, oh my god, fuck, it's behind me.
Especially when you see guards like running around, I'm like, man, what's up their butt? I'm like, oh, it's a fucking dragon. Oh, what do I do? So, and then the problem with me is as great as I love the immersion that world was, the problem was of all the good shit you did, no one really kind of gives a crap. Or I wish kind of like, hey, I just saved the universe. Like, I saved the world from the baddest dragon ever. But you're telling me I still have to start from the bottom of the Thieves Guild and work my way up? Fuck you! Like, and I feel like there should have been.
Did you look at that mountain I just climbed? Did you see that fucking mountain I just climbed?
Yeah, so I always want them to do something like if you adjust the quest chains to reflect what you're doing currently. So yeah, if you're starting from scratch and you want to go up from the bottom to the top of the Fighters Guild, then yeah, you have to do it. But if you gain some notoriety, it's like, all right, you could skip and be a regular instead of like a bench warmer. And go through minors first. Let me see if you're good.
Like, practice throws. You see all that screaming going on at the top of the mountain? That was me.
That was me. All right, Fox 2, motherfucker. All right, I should run this place. And I used to really love open world games. I played a lot of them, and it was like after like Grand Theft Auto 3, everyone just kind of like jump in on that. So like I'm a huge Saints Row fan. Like I love just to kind of like the ridiculousness of Saints Row.
As ridiculous as that game is, you can follow like its ridiculous story.
Yeah, because it's
ridiculous. It's dumb.
You're a gang. You're in the like in Saints Row 4. You're in the Matrix and you have superpowers and you're trying to fight your way out of the Matrix. I'm like, all right, that's.
But you're also going to make dildo.
But do you ever forget what you're doing or where you're headed or where you're going?
It depends, but if you're having fun what you're doing, I can kind of excuse that, like which was my main problem with Watch Dogs is like, hey, look, I love all these side things here, cause I don't care, and they're forcing this narrative down your throat, and it's just like cell phone Batman, and I'm just like, I can't take you seriously because I don't care about you, your vengeance mission, you're just super dull, and that's maybe like the worst part about that game is the character's so uninspired. I'm playing right now Sunset Overdrive, which I can only talk in very like vague terms, but that is an interesting open world game where what their hook is, they do their story missions very differently. Like they don't have a lot of repeating mission types, or there's not the typical of like go here, go there, kill 100 of these guys and move on. Like all their quests are like super varied and like really weird, and and I was happy to see it looked like a game Insomniac looked like they had fun making, because like after like Fuse, that debacle, I just assumed these people just wanted to hang themselves. And it's just like wow, and like it looks like we got like good crazy Insomniac working on it, because it's breaking the fourth wall, and it's so like the game's like so punk rock, but not like fuck you punk rock. It's more like mall punk rock. I'm trying to look a nice class. Like it's not aggressive punk rock. It's more like hipster punk rock.
Like punk rock you'd hear at like that skateboard store in the mall.
Yeah, like a Vans or something.
Yeah,
or PacSun or something. Like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
The game, like, cause I played it a little bit when I was at E3. I played some of the multiplayer there. It like the best way that I've been able to kind of describe it is like if you took Scott Pilgrim and you mixed like Dead Rising or something like that and mixed it together. It's a good like kind of like it reminds me a lot of Scott Pilgrim, just that aesthetic. But also it does kind of have that like skater sort of like vibe to it. But it's a lot of fun. I just love like the energy in it. It has like it's really like fun and kind of kooky.
You can tell that people had fun making this game, and it shows really well. And it's just a bright, colorful world, and you're blowing shit up, and you're grinding on your shoes on rail. So I don't know. Maybe I was like, would it be great if my guy just had roller skates? Because all these traversal moves would make more sense. But then I'm like, if they put roller skates, how many people would just be like, oh, it's just like Jet Set Radio or something, right? And then just be really reductive and just like dismiss the game. But the game is really, I'm digging. I can talk about like the first 2 hours I've played. I was checking the embargo. I was like, what can I fucking say? So yeah, the part I played, it's very like breaking the fourth wall and like acknowledging like, hey, how do I do this? And a tutorial comes up like, thanks tutorial, and it's like that kind of weird like very Deadpool like tongue-in-cheek kind of approach to it. And I think the humor works. The humor works like 75% of the time so far. So I'm digging the writing, and it just seems like a fun game. Like if you check out the episode of Joysticking with George that went up on Monday or Saturday or whenever, check that out. It's like when it's 2 hours into the game, and you kind of get a good sense of moving around and kind of the weird weapons. Like I got a gun that shoots teddy bears that explode, and like I got a boomerang gun, and it's called the Murderang, and I'm like, okay, I can you can hang Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, that was part of the fun of the multiplayer of the demo, because like the demo, like you just had like a bunch of like I think you had like at least like 4 weapons or something like that. So that was part of it, was because it's not like the traditional like pistol, shotgun, submachine gun, whatever. It's like just looking at the weapon wheel.
Your machine gun is the vinyl record launcher.
Yeah, I was like I had the weapon wheel up when I played the demo. I'm like, okay, I have no idea what any of these do, but I'm gonna try and figure it out. And I had like there's the firework gun, I think it's like the one where it shoots like the dragon like fireworks. That one was cool. That one I used a lot, and I think I had like the vinyl gun and all that, so it was pretty cool. Like
I'm looking for their equivalent of their dubstep gun. Like,
yeah,
I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, open world's new. But like for me, I feel like you can you can pack as much content to this open world. You talk about, we mentioned that $60. If we break that down, are we talking like I want $1 for every hour of gameplay in here, or because the last thing I want is a Mafia 2 or the last Mafia game to come out, where it was just like an open world game that did not have to be an open world game. It felt like just because open world games were hot at the time, it crawled right into that. It's like,
well, yeah, the way they did it was like open world, but like literally on rails. It was like
Game of Tours, or almost like LA Noire. Like LA Noire didn't really have to be open world at all,
right?
And it just seems like it was like kind of the flavor of the month. It was like, oh no, the fucking the kids love open world. You gotta,
we're rockstar. You gotta do this.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think LA Noire is a good example of that, just because like I really liked LA Noire. I know LA Noire tends to be kind of like a love it or hate it kind of game, and like I loved it for like the presentation, and I loved going around in the world. It just sucks that really you couldn't do anything else in the world other than drive around in it, because there was nothing else to do other than just go from point A to point B, except for like the car chases and stuff like that. But that it sucks because it had such a great like that world, that like 1940s 1950s LA worlds, and it just thinks that like that was a case where like there was really nothing else to do in that world, and that was a shame. Like it was kind of a waste to even bother putting it together.
Oh my god, Assassin's Creed 4 open world, like that's my favorite open world game. That game's holy balls, I totally forgot about that pirate ship, and it's a game that kind of like doesn't give a shit that it's Assassin's Creed. Like it laughs at its own story. That is a great open world game. Any Assassin's Creed doesn't have his head up his own ass is numero uno for me. But yeah, oh my god, how did
3 was? That was terrible.
Oh my god. Oh Connor. We'll just have this giant Indian sit in the Senate hall. No one's gonna pay any attention to him, even though he's in full war paint, and someone let him in with hatchets. Like, this is totally fine. All right, we're just not racist. Don't do that. Like, oh my god. Like, oh yeah, that Forrest Gump game was insane. Like, yeah, he just happened to be there. Like, duh. No, Battle of Valley Forge. Oh, there's Connor. Yeah, hi. Like, I won this, but you didn't know that because fuck you, Assassin's Creed 3. But yeah, oh my god, AC4. Yeah, that is a great open world game, and if you don't get a chance to play that game, you should, because that is fucking awesome. Yeah, just don't pad my game. So we sit there like, for Joel, what's for your $60, your hard-earned monies, and you say, I want an open world game. What are the ingredients that you're putting in? If you would just grab bits and pieces from like other really cool open world games, what would make it special for Joel?
All right.
Here.
I guess for it to have that like staying power. Again, I feel like I'm appreciating games now more so because I see the work that goes into them. Being on this side of the fence, I guess, and so when I am on the consumer side and I am buying games and spending my own money on video games, I want to make sure that I'm being told a story, right? So this video games are entertainment. I want to be entertained. Put on a fucking show for me. Like this is what I want. I don't want.
So you're more than happy to take let's say a 15-hour open world game as opposed to maybe the 60, 70 hours of a Grand Theft Auto 5.
Time. No, I don't got it. I don't have it.
So if you can tell them this story, that is totally fine. And like that was always a problem with the older Grand Theft Auto games, where it's just like you're just an immigrant trying to make your way, and all of a sudden, wait, why am I robbing? Wait, why am I doing? Why am I going on dates? This makes no sense. And it just seems like, yeah, we're going to give you a lot of game, and sometimes like, you know what, I don't need that much game. I just need you to, in the 15, 20 hours, I'm going to give myself to you. That's when you have to like
tell
really
me an awesome story. Tell me an awesome story, and just make your world believable. How's that? I don't need all the extras to feel that your world is believable. Really, like, you know, I guess wow me. You know, and that comes through not just like your core mechanic, but varied gameplay. So you mentioned with Sunset Overdrive that you get a lot of varied gameplay, and I'm sure you don't mean like you get the like I love Japanese game development where it's like, here's the racing level, here's the swimming level. Here's the you know, like that, like that's like the classic way of making video games, you know. So not like that, but just give me something fresh throughout and just keep me entertained. You know, I feel like I'm in it more for the story than anything else. I mean, the fun, obviously. I mean, I think that should go hand in hand. But give me a good story that you care about enough, that you respect my money enough, that you're gonna give me my money's worth.
Ryan the second. Mr. Yellow, or I don't know, I forget what we're calling you. What's your perfect open world game?
Mr. Wrath.
Yeah, Mr. Wrath, fine.
Not Watch Dogs.
Ooh.
I feel like Watch Dogs is getting a hit from us every week. Like,
Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed with cell phones. Don't let them
Maybe I just have this. I'm frustrated with Ubisoft. And by the way, I didn't mean to say Batman Arkham Origins was from Ubisoft. I'd like to correct myself on that. I meant Warner Brothers.
The comments would handle that. It's not a big deal.
But no, I didn't like it. We were talking about Watch Dogs earlier. You said you didn't care about the story. Didn't care about the story. Didn't like it. You know what? What's coming out? The Crew.
Yeah,
beta tested it twice and it was terrible. They basically took the driving mechanics directly out of Watch Dogs, put it in a dedicated racing game, and called it good. They basically took the story out of Need for Speed, the movie, or like the Need for Speed The Run, which is basically the same thing, right? So,
with the movie and The Run, was the plot similar? Because it was like, weren't you racing for the mob or something in The Run, and wasn't the movie the same thing?
It was basically a live-action film of the game, The Run. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I feel like that the Crew just directly copy and pasted that. Is it open world? Yeah, the open world concept is great. You know, I like how far, you know, how expansive the United States actually is, but I don't understand the way they made the United States the way it looks. It looks ridiculous, but I guess they did it for I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into that. It's not even out yet. So.
I remember seeing the Crew at an Ubisoft event at some hotel, and the station was there, and I was walking by, and one of the PR girls was like, "Hey, do you want to try out the Crew?" And then I looked at it, and I was just like, just took a sip of my drink, and I said, "Absolutely not." And I just kind of kept walking. Like, there's nothing. Like, I actually went to check out like Rocksmith, and I'm like, I don't play guitar, and I'm like, well, this actually looks more compelling. Like, it looks like an arcade racer. I'm not a race car person, so I was like, I guess it looks like it drives fine, but it was just there's nothing like, it didn't have that hook pulling me in. It was just like, I don't see the difference. And yeah, I thought of that too, because I remember seeing Watch Dogs at that same event, and I'm like, oh, the cars kind of drive the same, and oh my god, yeah. Now that you said it, it's just like
each car drives like it weighs like 4 million pounds. It just they're all tanks.
Like you're driving a couch or something, like, or a boat.
Yeah. As far as story-wise, I don't think I've ever played a game that had a better story than Metal Gear Solid 4. The thing was like
not open world. Let's stick to open world stuff.
Open world stuff. Okay.
Because I can do video on Metal Gear Solid 4, because that story's insane. All right.
So we need another show for Metal Gear.
We did a Metal Gear dedicated show.
Podcast just to catch everybody up.
But yeah, open world game. Ooh! I just thought of a good open world game that had a good story. Sleeping Dogs. No one bought it, so maybe that's why no one. That's why no one brings it. But that had a great kind of like undercover cop story, and all the side bullshit all had to relate to kind of you keeping your cover. So it's like, hey, you need to show them how much of a badass you are. Yeah, I'm gonna do illegal street races. That's what gangsters do. Or yeah, I'm gonna shoot dudes like just willy-nilly. That's what bad people do. And then you had, like, and it's great because you shoot all these dudes, and then you're like, well, I gotta let these cops know I'm not crazy, so I guess I gotta do a couple of drug busts. So you do that. So, like, yeah, a lot of the side bullshit just, it made sense to fit the narrative, where it was just like, yeah, you're playing both sides of the field here, so yeah, of course. Because you gotta do some bad shit, man. I was throwing dudes in trunk left and right, and I was like, whatever. It's my favorite part of the video. Infamous Second Son had nothing to do. Outside of like those story missions, I was like, I did not want to chase down blast shards. I didn't care about unlocking districts. I was just
crazy enough. That game, it's funny you mentioned that one, because that one, where I'd hate doing the shit that never really correlates to the story, was just going into districts that were still under control. So I was like, you know what? I was like, no, fuck this. I just literally went district to district, committing genocide. Clearing out every single district.
Just don't like those points, man.
No one left to fight, and then I just walked around the city like, "What's up?"
You're like that guy on YouTube. You're like that guy on YouTube. You're like that guy on YouTube who goes on and, like, plays Skyrim and just says, "I'm gonna murder everyone." That's my YouTube series. I'm just gonna kill everyone.
Dude, there was the one guy who I think took like 3 years to kill every single person in Fallout 3, and so he just went and killed every living thing possible in the game. It took like 3 years for him to do
because you can put that mod. Because you can put that mod also that, like, you can kill the unkillable guys. Because there's some people that just he's knocked out. It's like, nope.
Yeah, yeah. Nope. I think he literally wiped out all of Fallout. So.
That's what it was. Like, my experience with Infamous was me just walking down the street, like, "What's up, man? I'm the hero. What's up?" Just killed everybody.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
if you got the good karma ending, Joel, I swear, like, I'd be like so. After killing all the mass amount of people, and you still come out like, "Oh, I'm an angel," you know, like whatever. I would get so upset. Oh, yeah. I hope you went to the dark. I hope you went to the dark side.
I just hate. No, I actually did. I did the good guy, but I hated that. Like, I hated that. The AI in Infamous, and not to, I guess the best way to put it, the series was infamous for this. They always made the AI like have like this ridiculously perfect aim that they can shoot you from like across the map in your face.
Yeah,
and like, it's so cheap. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I have to kill all of you.
That was my big even like I haven't played Second Son, but in Infamous 1 and 2, that was always my problem, is that like as soon as I would go out in the open where bad guys were, and they would just all start shooting at you like right away as soon as they saw you, and I just would get so sick of it.
You'd be wearing like the fake glasses with the fake mustache, like, not me, and like you still get shot.
But that was the same thing even with like Assassin's Creed, like even in the earlier Assassin's Creed, like, you know, I always had to walk around praying like this because I felt like if I didn't do that, I would just get spotted. They would be like, "Assassin," and they would just go after me. So it's like,
oh man,
are we done with open world games?
Yeah.
You know what? Pro tip: if you're making an open world game, do not make Watch Dogs.
Oh,
that's what I got from this conversation.
And that's when Ubisoft never gave us review copies or.
What did I say every goddamn ShockCast before that game came out? What did I say? I said this.
We were like, look. The fact that we didn't get to play Watch Dogs a month prior to it coming out at a press event at PAX. They're like, oh no, we just have a video. We have a video of the game being played. Oh yeah, that's right.
Dana played it at Comic-Con. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, and she said it was a glitchy mess. So. Yeah.
We're sorry. We love Ubisoft because for every Watch Dogs they have a Far Cry, which is amazing. And
honestly, they're bringing back one of my favorites next year with Rainbow Six. I cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But even Far Cry, when I played at E3, I'm worried that it's going to be Far Cry 3.2 basically, or like 3.5 is like
Just give me more dubstep and tigers and stuff.
You don't understand the shit that I'm already planning in my head to do in Rainbow Six. Like if it's really destroy everything, like I want to play like, you know, terrorists versus good guys, and they have like hostages in like the center of the house, and I just want to destroy the entire house around them. Just leave them like in a room.
There are no walls.
No, just like leave the walls. Just leave the walls up and just like throw things over the edge. Like there's no more house here. It's time to come out. Like that's what I want to do.
Okay, so on that note, and people ask, is like, yeah, there's some companies that we like to pick on, like Nintendo and Ubisoft, and people ask, oh, don't say that, don't people say it? Half these developers don't really care. Like, and at most, I think the worst thing I ever got was a PR person from an unnamed company took umbrage with the review I did, and it was like, oh, should have scored it a few points higher. I'm like, no, I think I got it just right. And it was fine. 'Cause we met up for drinks and it was totally cool. Like it was squared away. But for PR, their job is just to maximum exposure. So if you like their game, that's a bonus. But
as long as you're talking, they're happy.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you were fair about your criticism of their games, and I feel like we're being fair. I mean, when we do our my last week's impersonation of a Ubisoft executive, what was it, Jacques? I think I was doing about the 900p.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they take that seriously because I'm a clown, and because I know that didn't happen. I know he didn't get a suitcase full of money that says 900p, like the blue 900p. Like no, that did not happen. They can take a joke, which is always good. All right, so let's move on to news, guys. Who's winning the World Series?
I think according to MLB The Show, it's the Giants, right?
Yeah.
But
so the Giants won Game 1 anyway, but I think Kansas City's going to take it. I mean, they beat San Francisco in the regular season, so I gotta give it to Kansas City here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but according to video games, Sony predicts the 2014 MLB Series rolling using the MLB The Show. MLB The Show is an amazing game, by the way. If you're not playing it, it's got a great RPG mode in there. That's fantastic. I love it. But yeah, apparently the Giants win. So it's in the strong tradition of predicting game championships through video games. I think the show
that is like 9 out of 7, like something crazy like that.
Yeah, like
maybe it's. I know it's definitely in their favor that they have predicted the winner. So that's Madden though.
Yeah, Madden's there. NHL. I think they've been 50-50 on NHL when they try to do it, but I don't know. I always like it because it's like whatever. It's bullshit. It's because it's 50-50, so. You can't go wrong. Like one's gonna be super right, one's gonna be super wrong. So, but yeah, baseball, sports. I'm trying to mix things up. Let's talk about sports, and then that was it. Like good, guys. How do you guys feel about custom backgrounds on your Xbox One? Come on.
It'll give me a reason to turn on my Xbox.
There you go. Ryan, custom backgrounds.
I'll put a background on there, then just turn it back off.
Ryan, custom backgrounds.
If it lets me do a custom background of George, so I can put it on my Xbox, then I'll do it. But I don't really care. So.
Well, lucky for you, the November update for the Xbox One dashboard is going to bring in custom backgrounds. First, it's going to be using achievement unlock. So when you get an achievement, you're going to unlock achievement art, which you can use as your background. So when you get your 50 million kills in Halo, you get a special achievement for that and a special art piece that you can put as your background. That way, when people who walk into your house,
I hope they're not stretching out a 10 by 10 pixel sprite.
I hope not either. But I feel like at some point, in games coming from this point on, I think games coming from this point on is going to take that into account. Where it's like, oh yeah, fuck, we have to give our achievements funny names. That's going to be part of the process later on. But then you can also take stuff from your media streaming thing. So if you're streaming stuff from your computer, you can take photos from there. So Ryan, you could have a big picture of me just stretched out on your thing on your Xbox One as you shout things at it. But yeah, that's gonna happen. Also, you're gonna be able to. It's gonna track what's trending on TV. So maybe the voice is hot. I hear. So it'll let you know what the Twitterverse is saying. What's good on TV. And also, you'll be able to tweet your game DVR clips, which is kind of neat. So since I use Twitter for my social media outbursts, so yeah, you do something cool, you could say Xbox, probably tweet that. So I don't think it's going to be that easy. You still have to go into the game studio, make your clip, and put the little flame effects and the voiceover narration, and then you can send that to Twitter, where they'll get a link and it'll take you to the OneDrive or the Skybox or whatever it's called. But yeah, and then you can also snap Internet Explorer, because I love using the internet while I'm playing a game. Let's see what else we got. Oh, NBA fans, let's go back into sport. We're on a sports roll here, man. NBA Live 15, EA Access is going to have a full trial before a week before the game comes out. So
that's pretty much going to ruin all of this.
Yeah, which is bad because
if there was one game that you didn't want to put on Access, NBA Live is that game.
That game, yeah. These are people who have already purchased the game will have early access to it. So you've already committed.
Okay. Okay. So it's not like because my understanding was, so wait, when you get the early access for those EA Access games, you pre-ordered, and that's why you're getting the access.
That's why you get early access. There will be a demo. Like there's going to be a demo. But then if you purchase the game, you're going to have up to, I believe it's like a 6 hours of just play this game for 6 hours. You already bought it, so who cares? So, I mean, that was maybe one of the reasons I signed up for EA Access. When Dragon Age Inquisition comes out, it might be like, hey, here's 12 hours of the game, or here's 6 hours.
I heard it's a week.
I'll take a week. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's where, and also you get the 10% discount when you buy stuff digitally.
Right.
Hey, if you buy four or 5 EA titles a year, that covers
that covers like a free game, basically.
But yeah, NBA. I'm waiting for that game to be good. Because when that game becomes good, that means NBA 2K will get better. Because that's just
is it like the
competition works.
NBA 2K is so much better that it's actually having an off year, and it's still going to be rated high.
Is it like the Watch Dogs of sports games? Like, is that like the comparison?
I'm not just being a bully. All right, just leave Watch Dogs alone. All right, they've had a rough time. Okay. But yeah, it's never been a great basketball game, and this is the year. Like you said, it is an off year for 2K, just because most of their problems have been like
connectivity stuff and basically maximizing VC as much as they can.
Yeah, like we're fucking virtual currency, man. That's the wave of the future. Like it looks like they hired some guy who like an economist and be like, oh no, I saw the future 2 years from now, and it's virtual currency. That's what people want. Give them virtual currency.
Let them gamble fake money.
Yeah, I mean that seems kind of neat. Like I'm gonna take to the blacktop and wager with my big head guy and be like, yeah, son, $80, let's do it.
I just spent 20 VCs on these kicks that I can't actually get in life. But
oh man, I want to know how much Al is spending on how much is Al spending on virtual kicks?
I think Al has bought more Jordans in the game than he's bought in real life. I don't know what's going on.
Guys, the Stanley Parable has sold over 1 million copies.
Hooray!
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Is me and Ryan the only person who plays Stanley Parable?
In this chat right now. I mean, yeah, in this hangout right now, I believe so. But that's a big deal.
Yeah.
For a smaller title, 1 million copies. That's huge.
Story driven, and it's a game about choice. Like it was actually one of my favorite games that I played, where it was a good commentary on narrative about like is choice kind of meaningless and like the power of freedom of just like the illusion of choice, which is like it gets really heady in like a really funny way where one of the early examples, it's like the narrator is narrating your actions, so it's like, and then Stanley went through the door, and you go through the door, and then you come up to a spot that has 2 doors, and he goes, and Stanley went through the door on the left, and then you're like, well, fuck you, I'm going to the door on the right.
Yeah.
And then the narrator just kind of sighs and says, in the following set of doors, Stanley went on the left. I'm like, well, fuck you, I'm going on the set of right. And he goes,
yeah.
All right. And then he says right, and he goes, okay, I see how it is. You went, all right, fine, we'll just go. He went on the door on the right, and then you go from there, and it takes these really weird twists. And
it's a great game, like, because you can either finish it in like 15 minutes or you can finish it in like 3 hours. Because you could literally just do an ending where you walk through a door in like 10 minutes and you finish the game, or you could do like a really long-winded kind of like crazy, part where like, it could take you hours to finish it, or like you might see areas that you haven't been able to explore because you might have taken a different path or something like that. It's a fun game because it's not like a game that you just kind of like one and done, you beat it. It's definitely one that you have to play a couple times and try different things to see how it plays out. So it is like a really replayable game.
And you just move. There's one action button and you just walk.
That's it.
Great.
Yeah. But it is really, the narration is like the best part of the game. That's like one of my favorite things about it. So it's really fun.
You know what had another good narration is Bastion. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Bastion?
Yeah, Bastion.
That was a great game.
Yeah, Bastion was really good. And Transistor as well. Transistor was really good too. I enjoyed that.
I never did play that.
It's good. If you liked Bastion, you'll definitely like Transistor. Transistor is a little bit more like a sort of strategy action game, but it's got a similar like it plays pretty similarly to Bastion. So.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for a game with good narration, just because like you always play the kind of voiceless guy in the game, so it's always good having that strong narration, just kind of you.
I can't wait for the first game that ponies up for Morgan Freeman. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Well, hey,
they've sold 1 million copies. I'm pretty sure they can cover this.
I mean, Call of Duty got Kevin Spacey. Next year, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. No, you mean House of Cards season 3, not Call of Duty. So, but remember how excited everyone got for Peter Dinklage and Destiny, and see how that turned out. So,
Yeah.
Lots of motion ahead.
Yeah, but at least Kevin Spacey is just playing that character. So it's
Right,
like,
he's
right.
yeah.
all right, you're. I know.
You're Frank Underwood. It's cool.
I saw that trailer and I was like, he is Frank Underwooding the shit out of that trailer. So,
Fuck yeah. I mean,
But I'll allow it.
him doing that. And yeah, he's future nonsense. But yeah, good on you. Hey guys, comedy fans, comedian Rob Wiggle. That's how much of a fan.
Rob Riggle.
I'm like, what's his name? Riggle? Rob Riggle?
Rob Riggle.
Riggle. You know him.
You know him from 21 Jump Street.
From
Yeah.
21 Jump Street, right? And
The Hangover and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
he was in Arrested Development. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right on. He's gonna be
Cameo.
Frank West in the Dead Rising movie.
That's actually spot on.
I was to say, yeah, he is like the only other person I could really think of is like a Bruce Campbell or like someone else like that almost. Or there was I forget, there was someone else I kind of thought of too, but like Rob Riggle seems like a really good, especially because like Dead Rising's so goofy and kind of like wacky. Like he's a really good fit for it.
I think Bruce Campbell would have been like too on the nose, where it was just kind of.
Yeah, I think so.
Like you end up eye rolling through most of the movie, but like yeah, I can buy him as a Frank West, the big
Yeah.
head and all like the crazy hair, and he's got some size on him.
Yeah.
I think it'll work.
Yeah. They say when that movie's coming out? Nope, never. All right.
Next year maybe. Let me check.
Oh, sure. Oh, you know what? I probably should have led with this story because it's probably like a bigger deal since we were talking about Ubisoft. Jade Raymond left. She just up and left.
Well, you know what? Listen, sometimes you just need to change.
Okay, that's
You
fine.
need to change. And I she's been there a
10
decade.
years at least.
Hey, I mean, she's the one that got like Assassin's Creed off the ground, Splinter Cell off the ground. Like,
She's the first liar.
look, she gave us a nice proof of concept.
Yeah, no, I know.
And from what I'm hearing, she knows how to run a team and like just get games out there because I guess that's what big studios want. It's like, hey, you know what? You don't want to have another like a BioShock situation where you're just like, yeah, we've got this game. It's taking 100 years to make. And
Well, they got that guy from Epic Games, Gears Viking. What's his name?
I don't remember, but he came in.
This thing. He's like, you put the drink down. We're shipping this fucking game.
Yeah, you are too fartsy guys, or stop being creative and fucking rip out that multiplayer. Let's just get this fucking game out there, all right? We can make some money off this goddamn game. But like,
I love that.
Yeah, no, you need and you need that because that's how you get projects done. Like, yeah, in a perfect world, my time talking to a bunch of indie devs is like you are never happy with what you have and you want more time. So if it was up to them, their game would never come out if it wasn't their obligation to like pay rent and.
Well, that's if you notice, our own developer, Mr. David Fenster, who's been on the podcast, he says ship now. And patch later. I mean, that's what a lot of game companies do to us, right?
We live in that age where we can do that.
Well, that's what it is. Software is always evolving, and you have to. I mean, someone has to at a certain point. Someone has to come in and say, "We're going over budget for 2 years now. We got to ship this game."
I mean, see what they're doing with Titanfall. They just announced that their next update they're going to have a co-op horde mode. And it's like that was probably something on their cutting room floor that was like, listen, if we want to ship by March, we can't have this horde mode in. It's just impossible. And
right.
We live in that age where it's like, hey, we weren't really missing it, but any extra content helps. But the opposite side of that story is you get a Battlefield 4 where it's like, listen, you can release it, but we can tell you this game is not done.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. Like we'll just see what happens. But
I'd love to be in that office when they shipped it, and then like they're looking at it like around each other. It's like, they fucking shipped it. Like,
oh, that's weird. I guess we'll start working with the expansion packs.
Yeah, or you look at something like I guess like annualized stuff like Madden or like Assassin's Creed or something like that, where they have like features they try to include in one edition, but they just have to get it out. So they might be like, okay, just cut it. We'll put it in next year's version. That sort of, especially like with Madden, I think they do that a lot. So.
Yeah, especially when this weird transition period with stuff is coming out on like 2 generations of consoles. So
yeah,
it's just like that happens a lot in sports games where you kind of get that first year of a new hardware. The first year of sports games is always like the best looking but the lightest as far as features are concerned because it's like, listen, they just give them a pretty sports game with quick match. That's all they want right now. Just throw it out there. We'll fix it later. Which is the problem with NHL 15. And later on, it's, oh no, we'll throw in your season mode and your GM mode. After the fact. It was just
right.
like. to me, it's like almost like an excuse where it's just like it's your reason to give me an incomplete game, which is almost what it seems like. In the worst scenario, that's what it feels like to the consumer, especially if you're a fan of if you're a fan of like NHL. Imagine like you buy this game every year and it's always like rock solid, and then all of a sudden you're sitting like shit missing here, like. I don't know what to say. Oh no, it'll be in a few weeks from now. Don't even worry about it. Like no, that's asking a lot of the consumer who just bought your game.
Yep.
But what was Jade's quote? I'm confident that now is a good time for me to transition leadership of the studio to Alex and pursue my other ambitions and new opportunities. She means Alexandra Perezou, who helped found the studio. He's taking over her role essentially, and I mean, I would love to see her go to, just another big studio would be great. Be happy to have her. Like, put her in EA. Like let's have her go to EA and just fucking clean house. Like I want her there and just kind of like, course correct that ship because EA is going in some weird directions as far as like how some franchises are concerned. I was like, monetization, we gotta make money on everything. Oh, the jerseys, no, fuck you. They gotta pay for them. Like, yeah, so I'd like to see her do that, but, like, maybe she'll do what the Bioware doctors did, and it's just like, I want to make videos about beer. That's what I'm passionate about. Like,
you made a shit ton of money. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm good. I was a doctor. I have more than enough money. I was a neurosurgeon.
They were brothers, too, right? They're like brother doctors? Something like that?
Yeah, no, they weren't brothers, but they opened the same practice together, and then
oh, okay, right.
You do video games, and then they did video games, and they were like, well, we're good at everything we do. Let's do something else. And that was, and the good, God damn it, good for them. But yeah, I'd like to see her just like, I want to see her someplace weird. Like I want her to go to like Nintendo or like, or like Suda 51 or something, and just
oh my god,
just like smack them in the head and just be like, all right, first of all, your games have to make sense, and that's the only way they're gonna sell now. Or like at Platinum Games, just like I want her to go someplace really bonkers. But,
Suda's gonna be working on like Lollipop Chainsaw 2, and Jade's just gonna pick up everything and just throw it in the trash, and then she's like, "No, Suda, bad Suda."
Go back to making sneakers. You're good at that. Let's do that. Like, all right. Let's see the final bit of news we have going on here, guys. I know how excited you are to play Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PC. There's no beta. So if I tell you there's a beta, or if some dude on the street says, "Hey man, I'm gonna send you a link,"
that guy's lying.
It's for the PC beta of Grand Theft Auto 5. You just gotta give me your credit card number. I'm not gonna charge it though. It's how I know. It's how I know you're real. That's how I know you won't screw me over and tell your friends about it. Like no. Like, on the download, right? It's like the first 25 hours. It's got some multiplayer there, and we also got a new character. It's
like, are there really that people that are that like gullible? That really exist?
I think there are some really good-looking phishing, scamming sites to maybe someone who doesn't go to a video game website all the time, who just says like, "Oh wow, that's a weird pop-up I got in my email about a Grand Theft Auto beta. Yeah, sure, I'll give you $4." And they're like, "Hey, I have a virus. That's so weird." Or I have 20 gigabytes of porn. Now the FBI is knocking on my door. I think people are that gullible. You were in an age where you had to explain to your grandparents, like, no, that guy from Nigeria who says
he doesn't have $1 million for your grandma.
Doesn't have $1 million. Like, no. Do not wire him $5,000 for the transaction fee. No, please, don't do it. It's your life savings. No, you're gonna die penniless, you crazy old bat. Like, no, I don't know. I mean, we make fun of it because we're just kind of like, we know better, but like, yeah, there are people out there who are just like super gullible, who are just, and like, I don't want to meet that person ever because I'm just gonna rip them off. Oh man. So yeah, and if you see any ads on our site about a PC beta, click on it because that gives us a click, but don't download it. Right? Just we want them clicks, but after that, you're on your own. But also, I wrote that article just to use the picture of Travis hitting a mime in a hat with a baseball bat. So that was really the only reason I ran that server. I'm sure we have a funny picture I can use.
Only purpose. So.
Only purpose. I'm like, yeah, a PSA, but really, I just want to see a mime. He's like, his face gets hit right there. Man, but we're running long. Go. I'm starting. Ryan, you there? What you been playing?
Hey, I've been playing a lot of Drive Club, even though it's or which Ryan? Sorry.
You started talking. No, I love you. Were assertive. I love it. Go for it.
No, I've been playing Drive Club, even though the online portion is terrible still, but I'm enjoying it.
I mean, does it work? Can you play online?
It's getting better. Paul Rachinsky and Evolution have been saying, they are delivering slowly what they promised, so we're getting.
I love how that's not a no or a yes. You're just
I'm
like,
sure by January, when the game was probably delayed,
Strategically said,
everything will work.
just say the game was delayed a year. It should have. It should have
Probably should have stayed in the oven for a little.
Ryan's just like, I can neither confirm nor deny that I'm enjoying this game.
Look, are you saying the cake is a
I
little
might
cold?
be.
now I feel this sensation that I have to finish it, even though it's a racing game. There is no ending. I feel like I have to get to level cap. I just have to. I don't know. Something is driving me. No pun intended.
So is the PSN version up? Because I wanted to try that PSN, like the free like the smaller version of it. That's still not up yet, right?
It's not yet. Not yet.
And people are
They
still
keep promising soon. I don't. Whatever. Soon. Another year from now. I don't know.
Oh, Drive Club. You remember that? I mean, the PS4 was launching, and we're just like, we got this crazy fucking car racing game. It's Drive Club. And we're like, oh man, it's crazy. And then,
I remember back when it was called #Drive Club, but they dropped the hashtag and.
God damn it, Ubisoft!
I think they realized how cool they were trying to be, and then realized that they weren't trying to be cool at all, and then they just decided to drop it. So yeah.
it was someone who forgot how SEO works, and it's like, yeah, people totally look for our game. Like, no one's gonna put #Drive Club to look for your fucking game. Watchdog. I'm glad we kind of stayed away from the watch_dogs, because that's actually what the title is, and
Yeah.
I think most gaming outlets were like, no, fuck you, Ubisoft. They're gonna and most times outlets are pretty respectful with how you do it. If you have we have a 3, it's 7, but the 7 is a 7.
So any Japanese game that comes out, pretty much. So it's like.
Or Final Fantasy title, or Kingdom Hearts Remix RW, no.
Yeah, it's.
Fuck you. Just Drive Club, Ryan?
That Destiny. I haven't picked up Alien Isolation yet. I'd like to, but haven't got around to spending $60 on it yet.
You should. It's good. Previous Ryan, how are you?
I'm good. I've actually been playing new games that have been out, because before that I've been playing mostly backlog stuff. So I'm actually playing stuff people are also playing, so I'm excited. I've been playing a lot. Aside from Smash Brothers, obviously. I'll just get my Smash Brothers in there now.
Fine, Ryan, 10
That's
seconds.
okay, it's fine. It's all
No, I'm giving you 10 seconds. I'm going to take it back. All right?
Let's
10
see.
seconds,
Okay,
go.
so 10 seconds of Smash Brothers. I've been playing a lot as Duck Hunt Dog because he's really fun, and Rosalina's a dick. That's about it. So yeah. Anyway. So Smash Brothers. And then also I've been reviewing Borderlands, the pre-sequel. I got my review copy kind of late, so I'm still kind of working through it, but we'll have a review up later this week. It's been pretty fun. I've been enjoying it. Like Borderlands, I've had kind of a tough time getting into before, because it's just kind of a slow burn, especially if you're just playing by yourself. But I've been enjoying it. The whole moon mechanic. It's I think it's the most self-aware Borderlands has ever been. Which, I mean, it's been pretty self-aware, but this one's especially kind of almost like Saints Row levels of crazy at times. I feel like it's just really up there. But
Are the
anyway.
guns still crazy? Are
Yeah,
there guns in there, Ryan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Plenty crazy.
This is the one Handsome Jack is in, right?
Yeah, this is Handsome. Yeah, this is.
Is he-
Handsome Jack's kind of the main guy in it, pretty much.
Is he still super quote funny unquote?
He's still very Handsome Jack. But anyway,
That's
so Borderlands, and then other than that, I started playing Alien Isolation and Shadow of Mordor. Which Shadow of Mordor has been really fun. I'm only I think each game I'm both about 2 or 3 hours into at this point, and they're both really fun. Alien I'm really liking, although I am kind of I feel like Alien I'm gonna love for the first 5 or 6 hours, and then in the remaining 10 hours or so that I hear that there are, I'm gonna burn out on it and kind of get bored with it. But we'll see how it goes. And Shadow of Mordor I'm really liking too. And I just got Evil Within today, so I'm gonna be probably downloading that tonight, and looking forward to playing that.
We're gonna have a very big horror talk next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say after I get some time into Evil Within and a little bit more in Alien, I love scary games, so I'm really excited that there's so much out now for scary games at the moment. So,
Deputy Editor Joel Tavares, what have you been playing?
Still rocking on that Shadow of Mordor. I think I'm probably 8 hours in. Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things where I can just turn it on. Play an hour and a half. I'm good.
Which is probably the right way you should play
Yeah.
an open world game.
I think
How satisfying, now that you guys are playing Mordor, how satisfying is beheading that like asshole orc who keeps running away?
well, it's amazing.
Well, yeah, like when I just started the game, I ran into I think like 5 orc captains all at once, and I was like, it looked like a scene out of like Benny Hill where I'm just trying to run away from them so I can go like recover health, and they're just 5 orc captains like chasing me with their like and shooting me and stuff. It was pretty fun. But
Well, one of the orcs' strengths on one of them is literally call for allies. So like any orc captain, if it's in it, will just hustle their way to you. But yeah, so if you're in a stronghold, every once in a while it's just like cutscene after cutscene of just orcs being introduced and then their names being shouted out loud. Like
It's funny because like the way they actually like respond to you walking around the world, like it's just like I just think of Arkham so much. Like I'm just waiting for one of them to be like, "Hey, look, it's the Batman."
well, see, like the rumor is at some point, whatever Shadow of Mordor was going to be a Batman game that got scrapped. And so it's like I'm sitting there. So when I heard that, I'm looking at this Nemesis mechanic. Like, doesn't that make a lot of sense? Like Batman working his way up, like taking a thug, scaring the shit out of him. Goes, "I'm gonna make you a captain, and you're gonna do whatever I want." Goes, "All right, whatever, Batman, whatever you say." And then you're helping him be like a mob badass, like like Sid the Squid, and you're moving him up there, and like that would have been real. Like I want that mechanic to come in, like to appear in so many games.
I wouldn't be surprised because like you got to think about the way the way games are made, right? So it's like.
Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft. Listen, imagine taking like a Templar, right, and you're making him like a better Templar by like being like killing his rivals and shit. Like,
yeah,
anyway.
I mean, but the way like any game is created, especially like these much bigger titles, right? And I was talking to Job from Telltale about this. You know, a lot of games start as this gameplay mechanic. And then they wrap a world around it, and they build a story around it, and they build something else around it. All of a sudden, you have Shadow of Mordor. So it's like that story, that like that urban legend that it was like a Batman game. I would totally believe that. I would totally, because there's no doubt in my mind that WB was going to milk the shit out of Arkham. Even after Rocksteady was done with it, there's no doubt in my mind, that could have been it, and that is an amazing Nemesis system, and it's crazy that no one's done it.
Yeah,
it's a crazy part.
That's why I like the argument that this is like a true next-gen game, because there's a lot of like computing and computer algorithms going on in the background where it's like I'm more convinced that this is a next-gen game more than Infamous Second Son.
Yeah.
I
think it's
because remember, the console versions of Shadow of Mordor is not going to have this Nemesis system.
The what?
The last gen version.
The last gen. I'm sorry.
The last gen. Really? They're not going to have the Nemesis system. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Especially just when you think that like the Nemesis system is like the key part of that entire game. It's like it's really going to be weird. I think without it.
So
I think it's going to be
every other Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's going to have a very limited Nemesis system, because one of the plot points is you take a douchebag guy and turn him from like 0 to hero. So I think you're going to do that, but I think maybe they'll cut that number in half, or it's just not as. They're just not as in depth. I'm like, that's gonna be like, I kind of want to try it out to see like.
It's not just like pushing the guy up to the ranks, but also like, that like you can battle someone and like take a piece off of them, and then later on they'll be like, I remember that battle we had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He'll come with a big eye patch on his face, or if you burn him, he's just like, I've come to the scars. You burned me that one time, asshole. Like
that's crazy.
I mean, I think up until this point, there really hasn't, like, even Infamous and stuff like that. Like, I've been looking forward to playing, but I think this really is like the game that like seems like, okay, like this is a next gen game. This is like this is a game that we couldn't, that has new things it's offering other than just like really nice visuals, and that it's doing. I mean, like I think it's gonna be like, I think even like Tony said it before when he was on a couple weeks ago, that like a lot of the stuff this gen is gonna be more under the hood stuff rather than like crazy new graphics and visuals and whatnot. It's going to be
the jump to HD has already been made, so now it's like, what else can we do?
Super HD, 4K.
Nah, that's
I think it's not as much of a visual leap as like last gen when going from PS2 to Xbox 360 or whatever.
From standard definition to high definition across all media.
Yeah.
Higher.
This is going to be more about performance and new gameplay mechanics that we couldn't see last gen, like the Nemesis system.
60 frames a second.
1080p.
1080p, man. Yeah, I saw that footage for Halo 3 running at like 60 frames a second. I'm like, and I got like a little tingle. I was like, this.
Was it in your crotch area? Because I got the same thing.
It kind of was. I don't want to say it, but yeah, it kind of was. But yeah,
the crotchal region.
Yeah, that's I call that just it's the Halo
place. The Halo place.
It's the Halo itch.
The Halo place.
The Halo itch.
You got Halo itch. You gotta go see a doctor, George.
So just Shadow of Mordor.
Does it halo when you pee?
Oh, it only halos when I pee. So, outside of Shadow of Mordor. So, what else are you playing outside of Shadow of Mordor?
I'm playing this game called Try to Get Discussed to add Ryan Rath as a moderator. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's like a joke at this point, but I think we've got to figure it out.
This is behind the scenes website talk, guys.
Yeah, this is inside jokes, but no, it's really just been Shadow of Mordor. That's been chilling in my tray. I'm waiting for that WWE 2K15. Like I'm just gonna mark the fuck out so hard in my living room.
That's got a character. Right? That's got a Korean wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Definitely doing a joysticking with George. Cobra Jimenez in
wait.
full luchador beard.
All they have to do is introduce a giferator with all this craziness going on with the RKOs.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, give us a giferator. That's all we need. I just want to do RKOs out of nowhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
You just gotta do that and the Tiny Titan mode, like NFL this year. Do that. So.
All right. My plate's been super full. I decided for whatever reason that this is gonna be my month to play every video game in the world. So. I've got Alien, Evil Within. If my early judgment is Alien is a lot. If you want your horror game, Alien is probably the way to go. Evil Within was a good attempt, but no. And we'll elaborate more on that next week because I have issues with that game. Yeah, I mean, if you like body horror, like barbs coming out of people's faces and like, oh, that arm's falling off, then Evil Within's probably more up your speed. But if you want tense scariness, Alien Isolation's super good. I'm playing Massive Chalice because the Kickstarter game got released, so the beta is out there. Samurai Warriors 4, fuck yeah! Jorge Nagasaki is going to make an appearance. Keep an eye out for that. Sunset Overdrive. I'm playing that for review. You'll probably see the embargo lifts on that Monday. There's going to be another video going up probably sometime this week for the multiplayer, but actually having a lot of fun with that. Actually having a lot of fun. I'm going to have a lot of fun with Samurai Warriors. I just know it. And I'm not a Warriors person, but I like the idea of just putting... I'm a sucker anytime I could put myself in any video game. So, like, yeah, like my avatar right now is my character in Sunset Overdrive, and I'm like, I'm going to make him look like me. And yeah, he kind of looked like me. And, he kind of dressed like how I dressed in high school. Like a fucking giant
you have a really high success rate with, like, your in-game characters looking a lot like you. Like, when I saw your joysticking with George on FIFA, I was like, that is like George to a T.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I couldn't do that with Evil Within because it was Sebastian.
just put a beard on Sebastian and you're good. That's all you need. So
maybe that's why I just don't like that game because I'm like I would handle this differently. All right, I would not freak out as much.
Just get a modder to put a beard on Sebastian and you're good. So they figured out how to make the black bars go away. Like they can do that. So
just a community activity. And and I think that's it. And guys, we're on my favorite portion of the show, and I'm gonna talk to Second Ryan here. Second Ryan, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I got a question for you.
Okay, 42. No.
No.
Okay. Correct answer.
Where do you get your cool video game shirts from? The correct answer is the DualShockers TeePublic shirt. We have a variety of awesome video game shirts. New shirts every week, Ryan. I know you're a Halo guy, right, Ryan? Yeah, you're a Halo guy.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Why don't you get the Poor Misunderstood Grunge shirt here, in a variety of colors, in male or female sizes. You're male. I'm going to assume you're a male size. And it's in military brown. I know you're a military guy. There you go. Like it works, right? Or maybe you're spiritual. Maybe you're all about the yin yang. How about the super yin yang featuring Ken and Ryu?
I love it.
It's great, right? You're doing great, Ryan. Awesome.
I believe George. I believe it's Ryu. Just to clarify and get the fanboys off you. So.
Listen, the fanboys are still on me. I don't even care. Or maybe you're hardcore. I'm a little hardcore. Megadeth. Guys, It's fucking Megadeth. It's a skull wearing Mega Man.
That's really
is
dark.
Mega Man. Yeah, it's Mega Man who's died, or is a skeleton wearing Mega Man's helmet. Either way, it's super dark and super disturbing. And that's a design by Coinbox Tees, and that's the beauty of our TeePublic webpage. And let me go back and stop. This is getting pathetic. But yeah, if you're in the market for like cool video game shirts, check out our TeePublic page on our website, DualShockers.com, where we have really awesome editorials, breaking news, and really funny videos of me talking over video game stuff. But yeah, check out that stuff. If you buy it, we get keeps the lights on, man. All right, it lets us keep doing what we want to do. So you should buy all your T-shirts there for any occasion, like hot date, prom, a funeral.
Wow.
Don't wear that Mega Man shirt during a funeral. Wear anything else. Just don't wear that. That's probably in poor taste. Visiting someone at the hospital.
No, is that bad? Is that bad taste?
I don't know. Maybe you're buying a new car. I got a new car this week. Maybe I wore my shell shirt to buy a new car, and that's I was serious. I was like, we're not negotiating, all right? I'm paying $700 for this car. Because, sir, that is a Ford Focus. They do not cost $700. Please leave. And you know what? There was an issue, but you know what? We came to terms. We found a middle ground. It was between $22,000 and $700. But we found an agreeable spot in the middle that I think worked really well for me for a nice, cute red Ford Focus hatchback, which works for me. But yeah, that's enough of that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, no, commercials, man. We got to keep the wheels of commerce turning. And, that was it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, Ryan. New Ryan. You're like new Coke. New Ryan. Thank you so much for joining us. And next time,
and then Ryan's original formula. What is it?
Yeah, original Ryan. Just in case.
I'll take it.
Just in case new Ryan doesn't work out, we can be like, oh guys, we're so sorry, but at least we got old Ryan. We'll bring old Ryan back. Look, we got him in our back pocket. Don't worry about it. Thanks again for joining us, and feel free if you just want to jump in. If other Ryan is like out of line, just jump in and be like, no, Ryan, Smash Bros is not that great. Jump in and do it. I have your back. Thanks for joining us, Ryan Meitzler. You're you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm me, and a little bit of me dies every time you diss Smash Brothers. So.
We can dish Watch Dogs more if you want. I'm okay with that.
That's not.
I haven't played Watch Dogs yet, so I don't know. We'll see, but
it's not fair. Watch Dogs is a game. Joel, deputy editor, co-founder, the man who made this possible. I can't even keep it together. Joel, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you guys will be back next week, where we'll have a very awesome horror podcast.
And Mr. Brown says he's going to join us, so we gotta get Mr. Brown.
Keep an eye out for Mr. Brown. All right, a wild Yaris may appear to talk about horror games. He specifically said, if you're talking about horror games, I'm going to be there. I'm like, yeah, whatever, Yaris, go be a dad.
Sleeping Baby is super effective against.
Yeah, right. That seems to take out a wild Yaris as a crime baby. But guys, thanks again for joining us. Be sure to check out DualShockers.com and all the YouTube channel, the Twitters, and all that nonsense. Go there. We should be selling T-shirts. We got a bunch of cool stuff going on there. And thank you for joining us in episode 191 of the ShockCast. 9 episodes closer to episode 200, where I have nothing planned.
It'll be amazing.
It's gonna be awesome because I'll be here. And don't forget Joysticking with George, a regular video feature up on the site. So. Give me your feedback. Give me your clicks. I feed off attention. I need it to survive. Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.